Our reporter Aubrey Ledwaba spoke to the National Director of Public Prosecutions.
And he started by asking him to comment further on the Constitutional Court order.
We came to learn of the order by the Constitutional Court earlier this morning. Of course, we are very mindful of the order, and we respect the order of the Constitutional Court. We're particularly mindful of the fact that the court has directed that it is not in the interests of justice to hear the matter at this stage. I wish to emphasize that the court had used the words "at this stage." It is clear that the court was very mindful of the petition by the President of the country to the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal.
And what's the next step for the NPA now at this point?
The leadership of the NPA earlier today briefly consulted with senior counsel. We're currently deliberating on the issue, and we'll revisit the position early next week, and we'll decide on the way forward.
So there's no decision at this point whether you'll be going to the Supreme Court of Appeal or the matter is just laid to rest?
We have not made a decision as yet. As I said, we in consultation with senior counsel, and as the leadership of the institution, we will make a decision hopefully during the course of next week or as soon as practically possible.
Are you at all disappointed by this order?
We're extremely disappointed. The reason why we sought direct access to the Constitutional Court or approached the Constitutional Court and not petitioning the Supreme Court of Appeal was particularly because the issues raised in our application were constitutional issues. We felt these matters will inevitably be litigated on before the Constitutional Court, and these are issues that impact on the powers of the National Director and the work and functioning of the National Prosecuting Authority, and we wanted these issues resolved as speedily as possible, and we felt approaching the Constitutional Court was the right way to resolve this matter as speedily as possible. Of course, this affects many other matters on a daily basis, and that's why we wanted speedy finality on this matter.
And this basically means that the matter is being dragged on and on and on and on while we still have to go through to the Supreme Court of Appeal. That's now through President Jacob Zuma's case. We're all surprised, though, that the President took that route and didn't go straight to the Constitutional Court with the NPA.
We, of course, when we decided to go to the Constitutional Court, we took into consideration what was best for the work and functioning and the constitutional mandate and responsibilities and legal mandate of the National Prosecuting Authority.
Okay, and another matter which is, of course, of public interest is the issue relating to the High Court ruling on striking off Lawrence Mkotedi as well as Advocate Mkotedi Mpshe off the roll. Of course, they've now indicated that they are appealing that matter. Was it at all a surprise to your office that that's this type of ruling against the two very senior people within the NPA?
I don't think it's proper for me to comment on whether the institution was surprised or not. I think the court has made its ruling. The two NPA senior officials, have filed applications for leave to appeal in respect of the matter, so I've been informed, and so too has that been in the public domain. And of course, we'd like this matter finalized as speedily as possible. So we'd like, the Gauteng High Court to hear this matter as speedily as possible and decide on whether leave to appeal will be granted or not.
With this case, many look to the head of the NPA, the National Director of Public Prosecutions, and that's you at this point. And they say that this case has shined on the integrity of the National Prosecuting Authority. Don't you have a prerogative of instituting an investigation against Mkotedi? I know that it's a bit difficult when it comes to Mkotedi because that has to go through the President.
In fact, of course, all matters and all actions of all NPA officials impact on the integrity of the institution, but so too does it impact on the integrity of individuals concerned, and ultimately, it impacts on the integrity of the head of the institution.
And so this means that at this moment you won't be writing to President Jacob Zuma to say, look into this matter, Mr. President?
No. Both Advocate Jiba and both Advocate Jiba and Advocate Mkotedi are presidential appointments. I think there's this misperception out there that as the head of the NPA, I have the power to take disciplinary action against individuals concerned, to suspend them, etc. The NPA Act doesn't provide for such powers to the national director. These are powers that are solely within the domain of the president of the country. The TO officials, immediately shortly after the judgment was delivered, I just returned from abroad, and I landed to this news, and the two officials approached me individually and independently and requested me to consider placing them on special leave. And I ultimately agreed thereto. I considered the matter. I looked at the powers that I'm enjoined to exercise in terms of the National Prosecuting Authority Act, in terms of policies within the NPA, and I ultimately decided thereon. And agreed for them to go on special leave. As to whether they should be suspended or not, and as to whether the President should invoke Section 12, subsection 6 of the National Prosecuting Authority Act, that is the prerogative of the President.
Have you been in contact with him? Sorry. Over this matter?
I've been in contact with the Minister of Justice in respect of this matter.
The Cape High Court has handed down a judgment that refused the SABC's request to stay the DA's application